Hi, Caleb Becker here. An interesting article I found on Forbes states that across the country, employees who are paid an hourly wage for their services account for 82.3 million workers that are 16 years and older, representing well over half of all wage and salary workers. And that represents a majority of the workforce. But there's another problem. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has a report that states in the U.S., a healthy unemployment rate typically falls within the range of 3 to 5%. But as of January 2024, the national average unemployment rate stands at 3.7%. And within this context, there are 6.1 million people unemployed, including groups of individuals with varying degrees of experience spanning a wide array of industries. And to compound this, CEO Today reports that 5 of the world's companies are making zero profit. And surprisingly, there are hundreds of huge companies out there valued in billions, yet make zero profit. So majority of people are wage earners, yet even the big companies are making zero profit. So is the labor landscape in a decline and needing a facelift? Or is this just how things are and workers appear to be lazy? What's actually happening here? In this video, you're going to learn when did wage earnings start, the decline of the wage earning model, and at the end, I'll tell you 5 companies that don't use the standard hourly based wage model and that are actually giving their employees more value. And I'll also go over the negative impact that federal labor laws has on our modern labor environment and what we can do about it. So let's jump right in and get started. When did wage earning start? The idea of getting paid by the hour started around the Industrial Revolution from about 1840 to 1900. At that time, people primarily made their living on the farm by trading and bartering. They didn't have money. Money wasn't something that they readily had access to. Well, at the time of the Industrial Revolution was a hot spot for innovation. It was kind of like our tech age we have now. The Industrial Revolution was brand new, calling for workers, calling for people to leave their farms, to come and work at a factory and learn a new skill, a skill that they've never used before, but they would get paid to learn it. They'd get paid to use it. They'd get paid to provide value to that company. And how they did it was they would pay you by the hour. So you could go, leave your farm, show up, get trained, and then at the end of the day, have money in your hand, something you've never really had before, and turn around and buy a new pair of overalls, buy a new pair of shoes, buy a car, buy a house, and you're using money. So it was a brand new concept, and it made a lot of sense, and it was exciting. It was the golden era of a new age, and people flocked to it, and industries grew, and so many amazing things happened. It gave people so much opportunity. But when everybody's doing it, and everybody's getting money, now the things that you used to buy with a little bit of money now costs more. So that brings me to point number 2, the decline of the wage earning model. With everybody making money, with low entry jobs and developing skills, now the things that those people needed to buy are now getting more expensive because more people have more money and more people are willing to pay more. So the only way those workers could get more money to get ahead was to go to work and spend more time. So they're going to spend more time on the clock. The clock is determining their extra income, how much time they're putting on the clock. And when they have a family and life to live, that means they're going to have to be away from home more to be able to come up with that extra income. The house that they're trying to pay for means that they're going to have to live away from that house even longer so that they can enjoy it. And That was a storm that was brewing that nobody had any idea that was happening. Everything was happening so fast, and everyone bought into this new work model that nobody really seen this happening. And then over time, as people keep pulling for higher wages, it keeps meaning that more people have more money. And more money people have, the more people are willing to spend more for the same products, therefore causing the worker to have to work even more hours. And so this cycle continues on till today. Over 100 years, our work environment, our labor market has not changed. It's kept that old model that was developed during the Industrial Revolution. And I think there's a big disconnect. I think there's something that's wonky going on. I believe that there's a change that needs to take place. I believe that we're living in a time now that's begging for a change. We can't keep this up. The federal labor laws have implemented a minimum wage. And the problem with that minimum wage is it keeps going up. And the problem with it keep going up means that it levels out the playing field where there's more money to go around. Okay? And don't get me wrong, I think that everyone needs to be paid their value. And that's what this video is all about. It's to have a conversation of what can we do to make change? How can we change our current situation and not use some outdated system that was developed over 100 years ago? I believe in workers' rights. I believe in that people need to be paid a fair wage. And I think that paying people by the hour is a flawed system. And I don't hear people talk about this enough. It's a flawed system, and I don't see too many leaders out there who are trying to make this change happen, who are trying to find a better way. And the reason why a lot of companies are operating at zero profit is because there's so many inefficiencies going on in today's marketplace. When companies pay the workers based on a clock, how much time that clock is ticking around, it's no surprise that there's no profits because there's nothing based on value. Where did the value go? That's where I think the system of today is flawed. Nobody's looking at the value, they're looking at the clock. The worker says, I need to be there for 40 hours. And if I'm here beyond that, I get overtime. And I need to stay here so I can get overtime hours, so I can get more money. He's looking at the clock. The company says, I'm paying you based on how many hours you're here. And the longer you're here, the more I'm going to pay you. The payroll goes through, and it's all based on their time. How much time were you here? And nobody's looking at the value. And that's why a different way of looking at this, instead of both employee and companies looking at the clock, if they would rather look at the money, how much money comes in for this type of work, and the worker performed this task that produced this kind of value. So I'm taking my clump of money that I had, and I'm paying him a percent of that, and that's his reward. And the company continues to work in a profit because he's never paying his employees more than what he's getting. You see the difference? And the reason why this is important to me is because this would solve our unemployment problem. Okay, a lot of people love the idea of having their own business, and they seek to start their own business, and majority of them fail. But the only reason why they're seeking that kind of life is because they're trying to get away from the 9 to 5. The 9 to 5 is a prison. The 9 to 5 sucks their life away. And they're trying to get away from that. So they're trying to build a better life. And so they want to start their own business. If the businesses and companies from around the world would pay based on value, then I believe more people would stay at work. We wouldn't have the great resignation that we're having right now. More people would stay at work because They are getting value for being there, and they're producing value on a daily basis. And when the value has been produced, the employee could go home. Why does he have to stay? Does it matter if he was there 40 hours? Does it matter if he was there 30? Does it matter if he was there 20 hours? No, it doesn't matter. The employee could come in and work for 10 hours as long as they were producing that value. The employee no longer is a prison to the clock. She can come, do her work, and she can leave when it's done, and she gets to make a living. To me, I think that's a really good system. She can come in and work, providing value, and make a living. And the company is always working at a profit. And I feel like that this would cut out so many problems. There's no reason for companies to hire more people, but what is really happening is they're working at a hugely inefficient model. It's so hugely inefficient and it's so flawed that they have to keep hiring more people, which makes all their profits go away because they're always working at a loss. So that's why I feel like that there needs to be a change, that we're using an outdated model that doesn't fit in today's labor market. So I want to go over 5 companies that don't use the standard hourly based wage model. Costco. This company pays its employees a living wage, and they offers them good benefits, including health insurance and paid time off. Google's compensation philosophy is data-driven and includes performance-based salaries, flexible work arrangements, and monetary or non-financial incentives. Microsoft also offers a stock-based compensation, such as restricted stock units and stock options. In-N-Out Burger offers to pay its workers a living wage ranging from $40K up to $200K per year. Lululemon employees also have access to team-based bonus programs that can earn employees credit towards higher income. It's impressive to see companies take a stand and give their employees a reason to come to work and in the end reward them with a living. So what do you think? Are we using an outdated model that needs to be changed? Or is our current pay-by-the-hour method the best way and there's no other way to do this? Just type your comment below and let's keep this discussion going. Thanks for now, and I'll see you in the next one.